good evening, Kunin. So, first of all, thank you so much for that non-stop, continuous information, introduction, and everything related to empowerment talks. So I sincerely appreciate your efforts for doing this and giving the stage to me. Thanks for the very kind introduction of me. But yes, today is not about me. I have such an energetic person and one of the best person I know in terms of body language. So Deepa Gill. Deepa Gill is basically joining us from India, Mumbai, which is my favorite place. She's an entrepreneur, she's a coach, and she's a trainer. She's a founder of Bergen Skills Mumbai. Deepa has a vast experience in diversified areas of different areas of different domains, and she's basically a 14 years experience in learning and development. She started a journey with aviation and worked with the brands like Singapore Airlines. Of course, being from the aviation, she's traveled 45 countries, worked with different nationalities. She has trained over 18,000 participants and more than around 400 training programs. She have different certifications from UK and US based institutions on mindset, on body language, on microexpression, on human lie detection. So you can't be lying today. If you lie, she'll probably going to catch you. And the topic she is going to talk today is very amazing because it's one of my favorite topic, which is related to body language. In communication, there is always they say like 7% is verbal and 93% is non-verbal communication, and out of that 93%, 55% purely comes to body language. So now, having said that, she's being an expert in body language, so I don't want to waste any much further time, and I'm going to hand over the stage to her and welcome Deepa. I know you're just waiting, and I'll be looking for you for with full of energy. Over to you, Deepa.
Yeah, am I audible?
Absolutely audible. Go ahead, Deepa.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And it was so insightful and informative video that one thing is for sure, you guys are super consistent with all your talk shows. And I'm happy to be here on the 128th episode with my very, very passion hobby topic, the body language. And one thing I would definitely like to comment is for Kunan sir. I mean, his energy, not only his energy being there, but his energy is consistent as well. And beautiful start. So it's kind of close to 8:45 p.m. here in India, and it's almost towards the end of the day. But looking at his energy, I decided I need to change mine. I need to meet and match that level. So yes, guys, hi, I am your so-called guest speaker here. My name is Deepa Kaur Gill. I am born and brought up in Mumbai. I'm the founder of this organization called as the Bergen Skills. And from past 7 years, I have been into learning and development industry. I happen to be few of those trainers from India who is certified in the body language and micro expression. So when it comes to body language, I do my signature workshops called as Mind, Body Language and Coaching, wherein I help people with their career transition, get better at their interpersonal skills, people skills and social skills, because the more better you can read the body language, the non-verbal part, as Santosh rightly said, that 60% is non-verbal. Actually, it's more than 90% that is non-verbal communication. So the more better you get at reading it, analyzing and understanding it, the more better you get emotionally in relationships, in your leadership qualities, in your sales and customer service and whatnot. And this has been my passion hobby since I was a teenager. I have read a lot, and I finally decided to go ahead and get myself certified. And I'm very successfully bringing about coaching interventions with people, with entrepreneurs, with sales forces, and the corporate organization here. So that's the introduction that I would like to give about myself.
Thank you so much, Deepa, for that amazing introduction. I wanted to hear it from you. That's the reason I didn't take too much time in the beginning to hear
Sure.
about, because it's always nice to hear from the person by himself, right? Okay. Now
Yes.
you're talking about such a very interesting topic, and body language is about everything in our communication,
Yeah.
because it's not what you say, it's more than that, how you say, and that's the whole concept, right? So
Mhm.
I have a question to you, which is like, why is body language so important in communication?
Right. So Santosh, before I answer that question, I would like to actually thank to all the viewers who have logged in. I, as a trainer or as a guest speaker here, I always, look forward to what kind of value can I add to the people. To all I can see, for all those who have replied, Murthy, Abdul, Melroy, Sandy, Imtiaz, Saloni, thank you, Tulika, Rachel, Atresh, thank you so much for joining in. Imran, thank you for joining in. I hope I'm able to add value by end of our session today. So before I answer that question, Santosh, that why is body language important? I'm sure, if you're from a training fraternity, you will understand that, yes, it's 7% of your words that matter. 38% is your tone of voice. And rest of it is your body language, that's close to 55%. So when I talk about body language, it's your body posture, your gestures, your facial expressions, and then comes your tone of voice, which is also non-verbal. It's not a verbal communication. So it's really power packed, 93% of a communication which is non-verbal. That is why it is important. Number two, this is one of such skills. So body language is indeed a very interesting topic. Oh, I want to know what the other person is thinking. But is your thinking right? Is your thinking accurate? Right? Because it can be whims and fancies. So whatever my emotional level feel that, oh, that person is angry, but that person may not be angry. It could be tension, which is a very different emotion altogether. So this is one skill which is not taught to us at the education level. So you are at your own mercy to learn it. Number three, did you guys know that there is actually a part in our brain that decodes body language? And it's just like the body muscles, Santosh. Santosh, do you work out? My question to you.
I do work out.
And do you remember your first day of your workout or first day of your exercise at the gym?
Absolutely, Deepa, I do.
Yes. How was your feeling post-workout?
Of course, starting first time is always difficult, and you feel like giving up, and you say, "No, this is not working. Why?
So
Why
there
should I
was
do it?"
discomfort, you were uncomfortable, there was soreness, body was aching, and probably day two, you were thinking that, I don't want to go. But the antidote to that feeling is to continue, right? Be consistent, because the more you exercise, the more your muscle builds up and the more better you get. That's exactly the way our brain works when it comes to non-verbal communication. So there are certain concepts that I'm going to talk about that will make the participants, the audience here is, you will feel uncomfortable that, oh, I didn't knew that this is how it's supposed to be. So today you will be actually honing the non-verbal skills set and that component in your brain that you were born with, and you'll get better at it. I'm sure you will be start to analyze the cues of the trust indicators. That's the topic today.
Okay, now the 61 people here are really thinking, what is this that we don't know? Because you have triggered one that point where we have something in the mind that is
Hmm.
going to kind of that is going to direct our body language, right?
Yes.
So now, yes, I am going to ask you, like, what is that one thing you are talking about that you are telling that that's going to trigger body language? What exactly you call that, and how does it exactly communicate in terms of your translate it into a body language, Deepa?
Sorry, Santosh, could you repeat your question?
I mean, what was the thing you're talking about that's inside the brain that is going to, either command or to speak to our body itself to work in a specific way?
Right. So with that, I meant was that there is a part in your brain that most of the people didn't know that actually decodes the signs, signals, the gestures, the tone of voice for us. So the fun fact here is, in a 30-minute conversation, two people can actually give more than 800 nonverbal signals to each other.
That's
There is also a
amazing.
fact, 800, right? I mean, now if I tell you, like, oh, I didn't even notice so much, right? Another fun fact is that women are very good at reading the body language, the facial expressions, and men are very good at decoding the tone of voice. So the accuracy of women is 4 to 5 times much more compared to a man. So these are few of the fun facts. And I would also like to emphasize one more thing, why body language becomes even more important. In today's time, competition is high. The need for skills and upskilling is very high. So I also believe that in lockdown, one should develop yourself in such a way that a better version of you comes out to the world, once the lockdown is over. So in which ways will you develop yourselves? And probably non-verbal communication is one of it. So I guess my why matches the empowerment talks why, and I guess that's why I'm here today. Um, there was a very interesting research done by this gentleman called as Perry Balthazar in 2009. And the area of research was, can you identify just from the MRI scans of the people that who is a leader and who is a non-leader? And with 92% of the accuracy by end of the research, with 92% of the accuracy over 500 MRI scans, they were able to tell that, okay, this MRI scan is a brain of a leader and this MRI scan is a brain of a non-leader.
Okay, so you mean to say by looking at the MRI scan, we can completely say that whether the guy was a leader or he wasn't a leader, right?
Yes, absolutely. So there were 7 different parts of the brain that gets activated. And here are the key skills that were come up. So there are different parts of the brain that you use for, different tasks and activities. For example, there's logical, there's emotional, there's experience. There are a lot of components to it. So there were 5 main qualities that the leadership, or the 5 main attributes, I would say, that a leader's brain had, Santosh, right? So one of them was, they should have there was a part of a brain that indicated foresight. I should be able to see the future. That's one of the quality of a leader. A leader should be able to do good planning. So that part of the brain got activated. The third one will surprise you, is able to understand, read non-verbal signals. The fourth one was, a leader should be able to problem solve. And last one, a leader should be able to motivate. This is research done back in 2009. And when I read this research and the accuracy of it, it was, me on my mission that, yes, I believe in non-verbal communication. I'm going to dig in deeper, learn more. And I guess this is one such research, if one believes in that, yes, non-verbal skill is one of the important aspects. If you want to be leader in whichever domain you are, it could be technical, it could be art, it could be creative, you should be having the ability to understand people, what they are saying, even when they are not saying.
Okay. Now you opened up a very interesting topic initially in this conversation, which is like you said, women are probably, they are very good at judging at the body language, whereas the men are very good at judging the tone of and voice of a person, right? So can you give me more lights on it? How does it exactly? How do you come to that conclusion, and why is that so? Why men are more into voice and females are more into body language?
Okay.
I would say physical. This thing,
Sure,
right?
sure. So I will try my best to answer it. I may not have the exact words,
It's fine. Yeah.
the biological words, but Santosh, can you, if I show you a color shade, okay, and the color card of one particular color, such as pink, from light pink to dark pink, will that make sense to you?
Mm, of course, it's not same. It doesn't, right?
Fair. Now, this is, in our practical life, we have seen it. For a woman, a baby pink, a fuchsia pink, a dark pink, a this pink, and a that pink, she knows the difference even between one pink to the other color. But wherein for men, they all are pink to me. So
Absolutely.
it's the way we view the cones, the so-called cones in the eyes of the women brain is more wider. I mean, it is more horizontal. So we capture more information in one glimpse. So that is why we understand, or rather women understand the facial part very better, because they're very, visual. They capture more information. Whereas the cones in the eyes of the men are vertical.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not that they can't grasp the entire work, but they look okay. But the wide range does not make much of sense. So that's why I believe is one of the reasons that women capture more information, the more wider aspect, and they're like, I know. And anyways, the activities in the women brain is much more higher than that of a man. So the men has these small boxes, right? This one is for my work, this one is for my driving, this one is for my hobby. They don't mix with each other. But a woman brain is a complete mesh of network. Everything is connected to everything. So I guess that's one of the reasons the way both the gender, they handle stress, their view in the world is absolutely different. And I guess that's where the non-verbal readings are also different for them.
No, what you said is absolutely true. For me, green is a green and pink is a pink, yellow is a yellow, and there is no more shades in that.
I mean, I have my brother, if you show him orange, rust, and red color together, it's like, all are same. They are all like reddish tone, big deal. But you ask a woman, it's like, no, this is orange, and this is red, and then this is rust. It's so different.
Yeah, that's the reason I started telling my wife, saying, "Don't ask me colors. I'm color blind." I told them, "Okay, don't even ask me about the colors." So that's how.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Now they say, like, in communications and everything, trust is most one of the most important thing, be it in business or be it in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So how can we come across the trust factor when it comes to non-verbal communication? Because you can't see what's inside, right? The body language. How does body language express about the trust factor in a communication?
Santosh, thank you so much for asking that question. I am one person who really believes that if you have trust, okay, um, you can survive longer in any system. Now, trust, again, I'm going to get a little bit more deeper, but I will come to the non-verbal component, because even before I get into how do I come across as trustworthy or trustful with my non-verbal, it's very important for my viewers to understand why it is important. Why is this word trust as a value very important? Number one, trust is a value or a principle. It never changes. So what trust means to me in Mumbai, India would also mean the same in UAE, in Europe, in US. The definition does not change. Now, in a very generic sense, Santosh, trust, like the way I like to explain it, it's inspired from this book that I read, The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. He says trust is components of three C's, right? One is the consistency. One is the character. The third C is the competence. Why should I trust you? Okay, Santosh is very competent in his job. I trust him. But is Santosh character also good? I will trust him even more. So C plus C. Now, along with the competency that yes, he is able to do his job, along with the character that yes, he's a person of principles and values, and that we match at the same wavelength, he's also consistent in delivering results. That is what compromises trust. Now, the thing is, it is very innate to us to analyze or judge the other person on these three C's, right? When you go for a haircut, let's say you are going to a salon, do you try a new salon every time?
No, of course no.
You go to the same person. Why? Because you trust that, okay, consistent haircut. The barber or the hairstylist
Know my
knows
style.
what I want. And also the character is good. Let's say Deepa goes in a salon. The competency is there. Very good hairstylist. The consistency is also there, but character is wrong. Once in a while, there is unwanted touch. Will I go there again? Will I do business?
No way.
When do we do business? When do we build a relationship? When there is trust. So unconsciously, Santosh, we check for these three C's in other people. And the fact is that other people also check us on these three C's. Is Deepa competent enough? Is she consistent enough? Is her character good? Only once when you're satisfied, like, okay, I trust this person. So this is one important tip I want my participants to go back with. Don't, if in case you have trust issues or trust problems, work out on these components, and that is a forever building process. You cannot build the trust and leave it, because again, consistency needs to be there. Now, when it comes to, so this you can do it with your actions, with your results, walk the talk, live to your promise, few other statements that help you build trust. Now, non-verbally, Santosh, this is my question to you.
Okay.
Let's say wherever you're sitting right now,
Yeah.
if somebody had to walk in through the door, which part of the body do you think you will notice first? Even audience can give me answers in the chat box. If somebody
I,
had to enter the room where you're sitting in, what do you think? Which part of your
I
body
think
would
I
you
think it's
notice
face.
first? Face. Imran says face. Santosh, you says face. Kunan says hand. Face. Fantastic. Arms. Okay. Major Naran says arm. Ramesh says face. Murthy face. Vishal says face. Anyone else? So there's face, arms, and 1% says hand, eyes, hands, leg, face. Doris, Jenish, Nilesh, Rachel, Manhar, Satya. Thank you so much for your answers. Amir, fantastic. If he is moving, maybe legs. Yeah, sure. Eyes. So honestly, my first answer when I heard this question was, if the distance is good off, I would actually check what kind of shoes the person is wearing. That's where my eye goes, okay, what sort of shoes that guy is wearing. Now, we may feel that whenever we see someone for the first time, we feel that we look at their face, eyes, smile. We feel that we look at that. But let me tell you what your brain is doing. Your brain is scanning for your safety. Your brain is ensuring that, can I trust this person? And your brain is actually seeing the hands. Because even when the language was, say, not created or invented, we all were tribes or apes at one point of time. How do you think we communicated? We communicated through gestures, through facial expressions, through our body language. And when one tribe, Santosh, had to pass through, it was a jungle system. One tribe had to pass through the village, or let's say the zone or the territory of another tribe, they would do so by keeping their arms raised. Indication that I don't have a weapon, I don't have any arms, stones, or spears to harm you. I am just passing through, let me go. And they would do so along with their family, with women and children. So number one indication was, if there are only men passing, there is a potential danger. But if I can see the hand, that means they have nothing to harm. You could relax, take a chill, that okay, let them pass through. And because this being innate, even now, it is the hands that we actually look at whether I can trust this person or no. And how these hands have evolved in today's time, it's the corporate handshake. I have nothing to hide. On a very friendly, warm, respectful manner, both the people are equal, that I am trustworthy. I have nothing to hide. I offer my hand for the deal. I offer my hand for the business. I offer my hand for relationship, whatever. So the number one component in non-verbal communication, when you want to build trust, if you want to come across as trustworthy, look for the visibility of the hands in the conversation and communication. So let's say if I was the I'm speaking right now, and it's been good over 10-15 minutes, and if I spoke to you with my hands constantly back, something is amiss. You would constantly think, why can't I see Deepa's hand? What is she hiding? Where are her hands? Where are her hands? And especially in today's time where there are webinars and virtual happening, at least 10 to 20% of the focus of the person goes in the background, and whether I can see the hands of the person. So they are meant to express. A lot of cultures show that if you want to show respect to the elders, put your hands down. I mean, at least the education system in India, I mean, where I studied and I grew up, mom, dad are talking to you, hands behind, look down. We were taught that if you want to give respect, your hands should not be shown, but that's so against the actual law and the principle of communication. Keep your hands visible, expressive. The more the person can see the palm, the more calmer and cooler they feel. The recall of the content is better when you're speaking. So let's say you are in sales, you're an entrepreneur, you want to give presentation, you are meeting a client one-on-one, you're entering a meeting room. So make sure your hands are dry, absolutely clean. I know during the lockdown time, nobody is actually going to go and greet the formal handshake. So the next best greeting that you can do, way before even Santosh, when you actually go ahead and give a formal handshake, there are 3 other things that you do, right? And I call it as SEN. The very
Okay.
first thing is you smile. You give eye contact to the person. So imagine if, Santosh, you are in front of me, I am looking there and I extend my hand for formal handshake. How does that
It
make you
doesn't
feel?
connect. Yeah, it doesn't connect.
Way before even this happens, the disconnect is happening. Why? Because I made you feel less respectful, less valuable, arrogant, dominating, authoritative. So way before even when you proceed, there has to be a smile, there has to be eye contact, and N stands for nod. Hi. And then you do the formal handshake. Now, I know you can't do this. We can't do the formal handshake, but you can still continue with your warm greetings, okay, with your introduction, following the SEN, smile, eye contact, and nod. So that helps you build the connection. So
After the three C's, this is the SEN is one of the another key tool. You're giving tools and tools and tools and tools, one after the other. I'm sure the audience in the room would have n number of comments, I mean, n number of comments as well as questions to throw at you. But I'm just holding you as of now,
yes,
because I have few things to discuss.
yeah.
It's Now, apart from these, I mean, what other areas are that one should be careful of or notice while reading your body language? Because you said hands is the one option, and then we say, okay, it's a smile and it's eye contact and it's about the nod, right? So, what else is most important apart from these features?
Great. So, Santosh, before I answer that question, there is another element that helps us create trust. And that is the second element of my SEN formula. That is your eyes. So, a good handshake, okay, the research says a good handshake releases oxytocin in the brain of the person that helps build the trust. So, even Deepa needs some amount of oxytocin in her system in order to have that trust and relationship building so-called element in the system, and so does the other person. A good handshake is worth your 3 hours of face-to-face conversation that you can have. That's the impact. So that's why your formal greeting has to be very accurate. However, I believe for coming at least more 6 to 9 months, this is not going to be there. But the second thing that helps create this hormone that helps us build trust is your eyes.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And this is my next question to all of you. So let's say eye contact is very important. Yeah, it feels that, yes, I'm talking to you only, I'm focused, and that I'm listening, I'm empathetic. So Santosh, in a conversation, let's say if this was a face-to-face conversation, and to my viewers as well, please give your answers in the chat box. In a 20-minute conversation, out of 100%, how much percent of the time will you look into the eyes of the person? And here are the options: 31%,
Okay.
51, 61% of the time, or full 100% of the time I will maintain eye contact with the person. Santosh, what's your answer? So let's say
I'm
in a 20.
I'm stuck. I think I love to have eye contact most of the time.
Yeah.
But yes, these days because of the cameras or screens, sometimes it's not there completely. But yes, if it's a physical one-to-one, I always have to give maximum, probably around 80-90%. That's what about my.
Around 80 to 90%. Great. And I have a couple of answers. Thank you so much for giving answers in the chat box. So 90, 95, 31, 80, 100, 95, 31, 51. Okay, okay. Wow, I've got quite a lot of range. Okay, so Vishal says even I'm stuck, but I do around 80 to 85%, less than 30 if you know nothing, 60 to 70 if you're prepared, 95. As per me, eye contact adds a lot of value. Thank you so much for these answers. So here's it. So let's look your eye contact in a form of a, let's say, pendulum. Okay, so there are two ends to it. One is very low, another end is very high, and then there is the right spot right in the center. Now, eyes become again very important because it helps release the trust hormone called as oxytocin in all of us. And in a conversation, the right answer is you should try to maintain the eye contact at least 60 to 61. I mean, rather, I've given you the option 61% of the time in a conversation. When you give less than 60, let's say 30 to 40%, you come across as you are avoiding,
You're
not
hiding.
confident, you're not sure. So in fact, when you want to look confident also, you should maintain eye contact, right? So that's the lesser part. This is the lower side. Now, 61 and above can come across as staring. You can make someone feel uncomfortable, insecure, and the fact that, is this person really listening to me, because you're constantly looking into the eye of the person. That's what I meant. Now, what most of the people do when I say 61% of the time, so what do I do for the rest of the 40% during the conversation? My tip here is please do not look at the ceiling or at the floor or people moving behind or at the background or yawn or look at your own jewelry and clothing. Don't do that. You still need to maintain the eye contact with the person, but
So
you
you
can do
basically
that in a
you're
very
basically
tactful manner.
yeah. So you're basically telling don't take the attention away from the person, right? Give him
Yes.
full attention.
So 60% of the time, I would give eye contact to the person. What am I doing for the rest percent of the time? I would simply make a triangle. So 10% or 20% from my eyes, I would deviate down towards the ear lobes.
Okay.
And one dot, like okay, we'll draw a triangle. So one dot here, one dot on the tip of the forehead, and one dot on my left or the right earlobe. Yeah, there's a triangle being formed.
It's
Now I will shift my eyes, earlobe, up, any side. I'll go reverse, any pattern, but I will never look below chin. Now, this is your eye contact or something that leaders practice. They only look this portion. So you do this kind of triangle. Eyes, earlobes, and here. In a social scenario, if you're meeting a friend or colleague, just invert this triangle. Now you can look at the chin. The same dot from the forehead moves down towards the chin. Never in a business scenario look below the chin line. That's called as intimate gazing. So this is social, this is professional, and below chin line is intimate gazing. The right time, right situation, right scenario you may want, but if you want to come across as trustworthy, as a leader, confident, empathetic listener, 60% of the time, ladies and gentlemen, please look into the eye of the person, blink a little less, and for rest of the 40%, you can follow the triangle.
Okay, so you basically mean to say if you're a little bit, you want to have a formal conversation, have on the top of triangle. If you want to have a little casual conversation with the people who are already in your circle and who knows you, then you get into a little bit.
It's okay to do social gazing,
Yeah.
social. Yeah. But just around the face and maybe 10 degrees, you will waver here and there, but not getting distracted. The focus has to be on the person whom you're talking to. And when it comes to virtual conversation, please look into the lens of the camera. If you're a host, you're presenting, I mean, just a tip to the viewers, you may be employee somewhere, you may be an entrepreneur, hosting a lot of business meetings. So position yourself a little arm's distance away from the screen. So this is like, I'm really standing very close. I would move one step ahead so that you can see the upper torso, use hand gestures and maintain eye contact, looking into the lens of the camera.
I think this is one of the major mistakes who everybody does, including me, because there are two ways of looking at. Now I'm looking at the screen. Now I'm looking at you, right?
Yeah.
When I'm looking into the camera, I'm looking at you. So people, even though I'm talking to you, but people think, oh no, he's not giving enough attention to me, right?
Right.
So this is absolutely true. Now, this was just amazing conversation of last 30-35 minutes. So, and Deepa, there's so many things people have kind of discovered. I'm sure if anybody can summarize what did you discover in last 30 minutes, that would be just awesome. And if you have questions, start throwing your questions. Before I take the last question with Deepa, then I'll come back to you guys. So just keep your questions ready and be there. And Deepa is going to hang out with us for a few minutes.
Yes.
And yes, now any
So,
you covered a lot of things from the three C's, then from the sen, then from the topper triangle and to the opposite triangle. What are the other tips on overall body language view you want to give to the audience? Like, is there anything
sure.
in general they have to take care of into apart from what you have said now?
Absolutely. So I can understand it takes a bit time for people to type in the questions in the chat. And I would like to actually answer the question that you asked, Santosh. I was like, so there are two body gestures that help us build trust, which is your hands, and next is the eye. And then you asked me the question that what are the things that one needs to be really careful about? If you're not able to see the hand, if you are not getting the eye contact when you're in the conversation, please take it as an intuitive indication that something is fishy, something is wrong. When it comes to reading body language, this is what I want participants and the viewers to know. Uh, it is very intuitive. But reading body language is a skill you can learn, and it comes with a lot of intuition. So you really need to hone your intuition powers. That how do I feel when I see that expression? How am I feeling in the conversation? So someone can be saying something but displaying something very different, and you're not feeling okay. Trust your feeling. Trust your intuitive, your gut feeling that I feel something is amiss. Second thing I want viewers to know is any body language is just a body language. The way I use it can be positive or negative. So if I want that, I don't want to include this person in my life, I will do the body language or use the body language facial gestures that will make the other person feel unwanted or disrespected. So there is no body language which is right or wrong. It is how you use it for what purpose. And third thing is there are a lot of signs and language that comes culturally. So you need to be very careful when you're interacting with a lot of people these days. Almost everybody is very global. Rather than going short blank that okay, this is what this means, take a breather and find out the scope of meaning of what you have observed or something that is troubling you, because in different cultures different gestures would mean differently. So let's say for example, this gesture in India is I'm thinking. In US, it would also be I'm having a headache. But in UK, this gesture means is the person stupid? I mean, does this person has a little less IQ? So one gesture, three different meaning, culture to culture, it varies. So just be mindful of what are those cultural emblems. Um, I understand that people have logged in through a lot of various parts of the world. It can vary. Yeah, body language does varies place to place, city to city. So just be careful of that. There's no one sure shot formula.
That's so well explained. I understood what you said. Yes, so we can't completely say this is the right and this is the wrong
Yeah.
and this is what exactly he
Yeah.
or she is communicating.
Hmm.
But at the same time, yes, if your gut feeling is saying, okay, this is not really Santosh, this is not happening, that means yeah, you have to go with it, right?
Yeah.
When it
Yeah.
comes to body language.
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much, Deepa, for your energy, because I took energy from you and I was really happy to host you. And you being so active and especially you're going into the comments and taking everybody's comments so detailed and with so much of attention. Now I'm going
Thank you.
to leave to the floor to the audience. If anybody have any questions, please raise your hands and I would probably unmute you and take your questions on a video.